Hello everyone and welcome to the Footballbets4u podcast, episode number 23 of season 3. This week I am joined by Melon.
How's it going?
Just the two of us, Melon. So we're going to have a kind of a good little chin wag there.
Keep it under an hour for once.
Yeah, I think we might actually get under the hour.
We'll see.
So we're going to look at the fantasy football. I'm going to just give a quick update on the tables. We're going to look at the Premier League fixtures. There's only about 4 of them going. So I think they start on Friday and run till Sunday. So there's 1 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, and 2 on Sunday. We're going to be looking at the bets and tips, and then we're going to be talking about a few kind of hot topics or whatever you want to call them, see a few things that you'd like to have a talk about. There's no Conor this week, so no Conor's crypto corner. He's probably after losing it all, so that's why he is not here. So lads, we'll jump into it. If anybody is watching on Facebook or YouTube, I will be looking at the Facebook comments and Melon will be looking at the YouTube. So if I don't see your comment, don't worry, we'll get to it because it's hard to kind of concentrate about. So, but no, we will get to, if anyone has any comments around, send them in and we'll read them out, put them up the screen, read them out. So now we'll move on to the first game of the week, which is Fulham versus Leeds. This will be an interesting one. Fulham obviously fighting for survival. Leeds very hot and cold lately. Oh, you went. You're back.
Was that me? You went on my side.
Could have been me. So, what do you make of this one?
Panic there, thinking I was going to have to run the show.
This could be a solo one from Ellen.
Oh, fuck me.
What do you make of this one? Fulham and Leeds. Obviously, Fulham trying to fight for survival. Leeds kind of safe enough, but just kind of hot and cold. Like, so, what do you make of this one?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's. I actually think this could be a really, really good game, really exciting game. Fulham desperate to get out of the bottom 3, and Leeds, every game they play is exciting. But Fulham's last game, obviously beaten 3-0 by City. I'll tell you end again there. Sorry, Fulham.
Give me 1 second, man, because I actually do have to run. So just keep chatting away there. I can hear you. I just have to run and get the charger because the thing's on 4%. So give us 2 seconds.
Fuck's sake. Yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, I think Fulham being beaten by City didn't really tell the whole story. Scott Parker's got a lot of praise for his performance in the first half against City because he continued to play from out the back. Obviously done it the week before against Liverpool and got the result that they needed. But against City, he tried to do the same thing, played from the back and really took it to City. But City are in flying form and are hard to beat at the moment. So they ended up beating them 3-0.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that. I was just saying that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just rambling on.
Yeah, the battery was literally about to go there, so I couldn't risk it. So what you're gonna have to say it again.
What I was saying was Fulham got a lot of praise. Or Scott Parker really got a lot of praise after the Man City defeat because he tried to kind of play his style of football. He didn't panic when he came up against City. He tried to play out from the back. He actually went at City in the first half. And although they got beaten 3-0, most teams, including like the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, you might sit off City with the form they've been in. But credit to Parker, he went after them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can see he's kind of pushing them along, isn't he? Like he's really kind of giving them that little bit extra. I think he went through a bit of he's obviously there for a reason. He's in that kind of position for a reason that the team haven't really been performing. But lately, whatever it is, he seems to be able to just get that bit of motivation out of him. Yeah,
you probably Fulham going up through the playoffs last year. You probably did expect them to be where they are now and fighting the relegation battle. But to be fair to the owners, they've stuck by Scott Parker, and I think he might turn it around anyway. And and he's playing exciting football, or he's at least trying to play exciting football. That could play into Leeds' hands, where Fulham push on the attack, and Leeds can counter, but it also works in Fulham's favour, because Leeds love to
very open as well, aren't they?
They play open, expansive football. So this one, you could see plenty of goals in it. I'm going to go Fulham for this game. I think Fulham
just
are going
because they need it a bit more, maybe.
I think so, yeah, and I think they realised that over the last couple of weeks that this is their chance now, with Newcastle falling, and Brighton, in fairness, they got a crucial 3 points in the last game. But
you can see they're the league table, so they're 2 points behind Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle have the game in hand, but
Fulham are after getting. Go on, sorry.
What are you saying there? The way
Fulham have got 2 massive teams out of the way in the last 2 weeks, with Liverpool and Man City, so they can have a right good go at this now as well, and drag Newcastle into the relegation zone.
Yeah.
So the pressure is more on Newcastle than it is really on Fulham. It's a kind of hit and hope from Fulham, like, just go for it.
And there is a massive game this weekend, which we're actually looking at next. Again, there's only 4 games. I was kind of rambling on at the start because I wasn't really concentrating because I was too worried about my battery going dead. So the next game that we're actually looking at is Brighton and Newcastle, which is a massive game, and a massive game for Fulham as well. So that's to me, that's even a bigger reason why Fulham would really want to get something out of this game, like, because they know Newcastle or Brighton have to drop points. Like, if Fulham can get a win here, like, that puts them in such a good position for the rest of the season. Like, and just if they can pick up points against them teams, like, that's going to be massive for them.
It is. It's major, and they've seen what they could do against. Obviously, they beat Liverpool 2 weeks ago, and then they put up the City in the first half last week. So they see what they can do and what they have. And as you say, Brighton and Newcastle is a massive game. If Brighton beat Newcastle, Fulham are out. Fulham beat Leeds, they're out of relegation zone, and they can just push on from there. So it's a massive weekend down the bottom of the table. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Just a comment in on Facebook there for me was, being a fan would love a Leeds win, but we have a rotten record in London. Last win was 2017 against QPR. We'll take a draw. That's an interesting one.
That's fucking. Yeah, it's massive. Maybe that's something that kind of plays on their mind. I suppose it's different players as well being there, but that kind of stat does always get brought up then, obviously, and it can play on a team's mind. But Leeds, you just never know with Leeds what side's going to turn up. Like, I love watching Leeds as a Liverpool fan. I love watching Leeds because it's exciting football every time they play.
Yeah, and the thing with Leeds is, like, Bielsa is so kind of not one-dimensional, but, like, he's so, like, narrow-minded in how he wants to set out and how he wants to play, and, like, there's no changing from that. So if he's getting beaten 4-0 or he's winning 4-0, there's still the same tactic, and it's still the same work. Like, so it is very entertaining to watch. As a fan, you'd probably be pulling your hair out at times, but you have to kind of love it. Like, Bielsa obviously got them up into the Premier League, so they'll stick by him through and through, I think. But it is one, this type of game again is one that I reckon Fulham, just because they need it more, they might just find that little bit extra. Now, having said that, Leeds have it drilled into them that work rate is pretty much everything for them. Like, so it's going to be tough for Fulham, and if they are going to win, I think it's going to be a narrow win. But I do think they'll probably get it, and I think it might be, like you're saying, there's a few goals in it. I think it might be a 2-1 Fulham win. I'm going to go with 2-1 Fulham, and I'm going to say Lookman to score on that one. But
okay,
did you give us a score, or did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't even give a score, I suppose. I'm gonna go 3-1 Fulham, and again Lookman I think is the man for me.
Just a quick one on Leeds and Bielsa's kind of situation. What happens at the end of the season for him? Does he stay another year, or does he leave? Like, if you're a fan, you're obviously hoping he stays, but is he coming towards the end now at Leeds? Like, is there much else he's going to really do or want to do with them? Like,
I think now that Leeds fan can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when Leeds got promoted, there was a lot of talk around Bielsa leaving Leeds at the time. And then he stayed on for the extra year, in the Premier League. So you never know. I suppose for Leeds' sake, they they'd love to keep him because he's a great manager, but he's also a massive attraction for players.
Yeah.
They can't, obviously they're not going to compete at the top with the Cities and Chelseas, Liverpools for the top names, but those kind of mid-tier players, if you like, Bielsa's name is going to attract them to Leeds. So yeah, for Leeds' sake, I think they'd hope that he sticks around, but you never know if a top club comes calling for Bielsa, he might go elsewhere.
Well, how old is he now? He's old enough. Like, is he coming towards the end of his managerial career? Like, is that something that he probably?
He probably he's just a football man. I suppose he might not retire for a few more years. I don't know how old he is, but I think he certainly has a lot more in him, I suppose.
He must have serious knees or serious blood flow. He's able to be on as hunkers for that long. Like, literally, ridiculous. I got about a good 20 seconds in me and I'm gone. I'm dizzy when I stand up. Like,
I don't know how he does it, and that little kind of bucket seat that he has as well. Like, it's quality what he's bringing to the Premier League. It's all the all-round side of him. Like.
Yeah. So just a quick run through on the prices. Sorry, 6-4 for Fulham, 23-10 for the draw, 9-5 for Leeds. 6-4, I just think is a good price for Fulham. So I think we've both gone Fulham on that one. So we'll move on to the next one. So we usually don't do it, Melon, but we're going to try to keep this one under an hour. Because there's only 2 of us and because there's only 4 games, we might succeed this week.
We'll see.
Interesting. Right, the next one. Again, this is not one that you would be looking at to start the season going, this is a fucking cracker, but this should be a cracker because of what I mean. So Saturday at 8 o'clock. So again, we've only done one match on Saturday. Brighton versus Newcastle. 4-6 for Brighton, a big favourite for Brighton. 13-5 for the draw, and Newcastle 19-4. How do you think? Like, look, obviously we know Steve Heads is in charge of Newcastle, but how do you think this is going to go? Like, the last 3 games they've drawn, and obviously not 1 and 5. So the form for Newcastle has been shocking. Brighton obviously getting a good win in their last match. Badly needed it against Southampton. So do you think Brighton will carry on this kind of little spark of life, maybe, or do you reckon that they may struggle against a Newcastle team? Like, Newcastle obviously being the bigger club as a whole, do you just think that they'll just find it within kind of themselves to pull out a result here?
I think last week was massive for Brighton getting the 3 points. Came at a vital time for them. Being at home as well, I think, I think Brighton are going to have too much for Newcastle. I said Leeds and Fulham could be an exciting game with plenty of goals. I think this one could be a really, really boring game. I know it should be a cracker, but like, when they're in such an awkward position, both teams are going to want to shut up shop nearly, and neither of them are going to want to lose. So that just makes for a bad game. It's
gonna be a game of chess, really, isn't it? Like, it's gonna be like,
exactly.
It's gonna be literally it's not gonna be counter-attacking or anything like that. I think they're going to be too afraid to even counter-attack. I think they're not going to commit that many men forward. Like,
the problem for Newcastle is Newcastle need to start kind of getting points and climbing up the table. Sorry. So for Newcastle, they should really be going on the attack and trying to win the game. They need every point they can get. But I just think both teams are going to kind of sit off each other. Now, this game, if it gets an early goal, it can fucking... there could be fireworks, if Brighton get a goal early, Newcastle will have to come out and play, especially if Fulham beat Leeds the day before. It's massive. It's a massive massive game for Newcastle. And to be honest, I think Newcastle have actually maybe shot themselves in the foot, and they should have got rid of Steve Bruce earlier.
Definitely. Yeah, I think so.
And now they're in a position where they can't get rid of him. They're falling down the table. Like, it's going from...
Get rid of him and get Big Sam in, maybe. See if Sam can do a miracle there.
They should have done something. Fulham, I know they stuck with Scott Parker, but they were down at the bottom anyway. They were expected to kind of be down there, and they've stuck by the manager who's got them up. Newcastle, you'd expect Newcastle to be higher up in the table, and now that they haven't changed anything, they can only blame themselves, and it's starting to look bad for Newcastle.
Yeah, just a quick one there. Ian just came back in there saying that Leeds were rumoured to be looking at Allegri. So he he was actually the next one. He said he hopes Bielsa stays, and Bielsa is 65. So
65.
still a few years left when you consider some of the
Yeah.
managers knocking around, like
Wenger
Roy Hodgson and stuff like
Ferguson
that.
and stuff, yeah.
Like Roy Hodgson, I think he's 72 or something now at this stage. Like,
It's no, he is. He's getting on in age as well. Allegri will be a good manager. I just think personally, Bielsa is who I'd be sticking with. If you're the owners of Leeds, I'd be sticking with Bielsa.
I don't think it's down to the owners. I think it's in Bielsa's hand. I think they've probably just said to him, "Look, we'll let you decide." I think he chose to stay that extra year there. I don't think it was an issue with contracts or anything. I think that was just he wanted to stay.
Whether or not he wanted to stay, yeah. And he's done what he had to do. He got them out of the championship after years, and he's kind of made them competitive in the top league. Yeah. So there's no fear of them getting relegated. So he's done what he was brought in to do. And as you say, the Leeds owners will leave it up to him at the end of the day.
It's going to be interesting looking at Leeds. Sorry, I know we're on the Brighton and Newcastle match, but it is going to be interesting looking at Leeds if Bielsa does leave and how them players are so adapted to that style of play, how they'll adapt to another style with a different manager. Like, so I think it'll really show how good and how bad certain players are. Like, because you can be bad, but you can make up for it with work rate. But when you take the work rate, like needing that amount of work rate for the system, it then becomes like your talent that's going to get you through, and it might not benefit some of them players.
Yeah,
the likes of Rafinha and all would be good. Like,
I don't see Rafinha being there next year. If I'm honest, I think he'll be snapped up by kind of a European level team, if you like, in the Premier League. I think he'll stay in the Premier League, but I think he'll be by one of the top teams.
Yeah, and come here. So we're going back to Brighton and Newcastle. So, like, score prediction on this, what are you thinking? Like, do you think that this is a Brighton win, or do you think Newcastle now have kind of, like I said, may just find that little bit of spark that they need to kind of pull out a result here, knowing how big this match is for them? Like,
no, I think Brighton here. I think it'll be a cagey affair. But I think Brighton might get an early goal, which is going to cause Newcastle to have to come out and play a different to adjust their tactics, I suppose, before, or adjust their tactics to what they had planned on doing. And then Brighton will just open up, and I think Brighton will win comfortably here. And I also, do you know what? I do want Brighton to stay up, if I'm being honest.
So would you like to see Newcastle go down?
I don't hate Newcastle. I think Newcastle are a good team to have in the league because they're such a massive club and a massive stadium as well. But out of the three, Fulham, Newcastle, and Brighton, I predicted Brighton to go down at the start of the season, but Graham Potter plays some unbelievable football. It's real enjoyable to watch and what he's trying to do at the club. So yeah, I'd like to see Brighton stay up.
I don't know I can't remember who I predicted to go down. I think West Brom. I don't know. I can't remember anyway. Give us a score prediction on this one anyway, man.
I'm going to go 2-0 to Brighton. And I will go Neil Mopey.
Right, so I'm going to go with a Brighton win on this one as well. I think I just think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and I think it's going to be maybe a 1-0 win for Brighton. And I reckon because Trossard scored in the last game, I think he might continue that little bit of form into the next game. So I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Brighton, and I'm going to say Trossard to score. We'll move on to the next one. So our third of the fourth one, our third of the four games. So Sunday at 3 o'clock, West Ham versus Arsenal. 15-8 for West Ham, 12-5 for the draw, and 7-5 for Arsenal. Did you watch any of Arsenal tonight? My God, they are absolutely shocking. Like,
no, I didn't. I seen probably the last 5 minutes of it. I turned it on, and they missed in that 5 minutes. They missed two great opportunities as well.
Like there was. I was just watching because I had them in play. I had them to draw. And Odegaard, I actually think he's very good. Like, he looks really classy on the ball, and he's very good. Like, but the ball fell to him, and it kind of hopped up as he shot. And I'm not even joking. I wouldn't even be surprised if I went out of the fucking stadium. He absolutely skied the thing. Like, it was embarrassing. It was. And then Pepe had about 10 chances, and then fucking Aubameyang goes 1-on-1 and misses, hits it wide. Like, I was just like, it was so fucking poor. They were like, it was really, really embarrassing. Like, so I'm not
it's
sure.
probably a thing of having it. They had the comfort of the first leg being 3-1 up.
Yeah.
I suppose if you have that comfort, and they had away goals, like they were 3 away goals, so you probably would let the foot off the gas a little bit. But as you say, like some of the chances obviously that they've missed were
it's embarrassing. Like as a striker, you want to be just putting away them chances. Like you don't want to miss any, regardless of the first leg being 3-1. Like, but fucking embarrassing some of the chances. So 15-8 for West Ham against a poor kind of Arsenal team isn't a bad price. West Ham obviously sitting pretty in the table at the moment with Moyes playing pretty well or doing pretty well. So, like 5th position, do you reckon? I honestly don't think they're going to be getting anywhere near top 4. Although they win the next game, they pretty much go level on points to Chelsea. I still don't think they're going to get near it. Do you think that, or do you think they may have a little bit of chance?
The way the top 4 is, I suppose that's what it's likely to be at the end of the season. But West Ham against Arsenal at home as well. It's I don't know. I am leaning towards West Ham for this game. They just barely got beaten by United as well last week, I think it was.
Yeah.
But I think they could beat Arsenal here.
Obviously, Arsenal coming off the good win against Spurs. And look, in the league, they are on the last 3 games. They've won 2 and drawn 1. Like, so, like not terrible form for Arsenal. Like, are you surprised they're sitting in 10th?
Not really, because Arsenal are Arsenal. I don't like Aubameyang. To be honest, he's got a new contract and he set himself up there perfectly because he's past his prime. Like, he's got himself the best contract. That's the best contract he's going to get, and he got himself the contract, so he's comfortable there. Arsenal don't have much talent. Yeah, they've got Odegaard, who is a talented player, and then they have Martinelli, who's back, and he actually looked really good when he came on tonight as well.
He's a good player.
But no,
but they have potential. Like the likes of Pepe, I think is not a bad player. Like given a bit of time and form, like he actually is a pretty good player. The likes of Saka there, I think is really good. And the likes of Martinelli,
they don't gel together. Like, I don't know, it's Arsenal, and like, I don't know if you can consider Arsenal a top team anymore. That's where I see Arsenal now, is kind of like 8th, 9th, 10th position every year.
Yeah.
And like something major has to change, and they need to get in top players who are still, that can give them like 6 or 7 years of their best kind of form. But those players don't go to Arsenal anymore. They don't look at Arsenal as being a top team. They go to the Champions League teams. Yeah. So Arsenal are in a position where, like, I don't know, Liverpool, United were for a couple of years. Like, they're not going to sign the top players.
But they always had that stature. Liverpool and United always had that stature of the club behind them. Whereas Arsenal are a little bit of a fucking plastic club. Not plastic club, but like they never really had that backbone or structure or something like that. And like I know with Wenger and all, he was there for years, and they did challenge for the league for years, but them days are well and truly gone. Does that, you build up the reputation for the club, like, and one of the biggest clubs in the world. Arsenal aren't really at that level, like.
No, like it shows you how good of a job Wenger done at that club.
Yeah.
Because the managers that have gone in there now, like there was some big name managers that went in there, and normally you can look at a manager when they go into a club and it's like, right, he will attract some players because of his name. Arsenal just don't have that. As you said, they don't have the history behind them. They don't have the kind of big stature. They've always been considered a top, like in the top 6 clubs in England. I think that's going to just drift away, and they're not going to get in the players that they need to get them back into that kind of Champions League level. And I don't think Arteta is the man either, but I don't know who is the man for Arsenal, because no matter who goes in, I don't think they're going to do what they need to do to get them back into the kind of the title hunt or even Champions League, European football. yeah, I don't.
It is gonna be tough for them. And again, it's like you were saying there, you don't know who the right man is for the job. But like Arteta, I don't know. I don't like him. I don't like him as a person for some reason. I don't know why. Every time I say I don't like him, everybody's like, "How can you not like him?" I just cannot. He's a fucking arrogant prick. So I just can't take him. But he has been learning under Pep, and Pep really talks highly of him. So in terms of tactics and stuff, he's like Pep seems to rate him which is let's be honest, it's the majority of the games your tactics but he just doesn't seem to be doing that at Arsenal for me
But it's the difference as well. He was great at City, and as you said, Pep loved him at City. But the players that he was dealing with at City, you could tell them anything, and they'll go out and they're still going to win a game of football for you. You can have De Bruyne playing at right back, and Man City are going to win you a game of football. It doesn't matter. Arsenal don't have that standard of player, and Arteta is being found out now at this club. Look, he's new to the management side of it, so he's still learning on the job, like every new manager is learning. But I suppose for you, being a Chelsea fan, you've seen Lampard come in there and he's got sacked after doing a better job at Chelsea than what Arteta is doing at Arsenal. And I don't know if that's because the board are kind of being more patient and Chelsea weren't, or
that's what it is.
What do you think about that?
That's
because
what
Arteta has them.
Yeah, look, I think Chelsea are a different culture with their board and stuff like that. They're a sack the manager and fucking ask questions later, do you know what I mean? And then figure it out. I don't think Arsenal are really like that. They've always had that kind of structure with the likes of Wenger there after kind of 20 years or whatever he was there, 22 years, 25 years, whatever it was. And they always seem like they strive to get that again. They had Emery there, Emery. Look, it didn't really work out. It's just a foreign manager coming across, and it's a little bit different because he's not like Arsenal through and through, whereas Arteta will be. Now, look, obviously it happened at Chelsea where Lampard got sacked for a string of bad results, but that's just down to the owners. I think. I don't think. I think Arsenal board are probably looking at this going this is maybe a project for the next 5 or 10 years, because they're always about kind of selling on players, making players better, and making profits, and they're always about business. Roman Abramovich doesn't care. He has money to burn. He'll get manager in for a fucking 15 million contract, and he'd sack him tomorrow because they're not getting results. He just literally wants trophies. He's not worried about the structure of the club or that. He wants success, and he wants it now. He wants it yesterday. He does. So that's why I think the difference is there between Arsenal and Chelsea is that Arsenal are willing to sacrifice that time for the sake of the club in the future, maybe. And I think Arteta is potentially someone that could do it for the future, but I just don't know. Me personally, I don't see it. I just Aubameyang's coming to the end. I know he signed a new contract now, but to me, looking at him tonight, I know they were through and all. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't really look like he gave a shit. And then there's a couple of other players like Louise and stuff like that. Willian went there because to me it just seemed like he didn't want to leave London, and he got a nice little contract with them, and he's just there to finish out the rest of his fucking contract and career.
It's Willian and Aubameyang. You're what you've said there. They've got that's the best contract they're going to get now until they retire, and Arsenal have given it to them, so they're comfortable there. But I understand it, and I get it that Arsenal are it's the right thing to do is have some patience and put some time into Arteta and let him try build a squad. If he can get that young squad that he can develop and they can start challenging. It's exactly what happened at United. For years after Fergie left, they went through managers and it was kind of right, get them in, they're not doing the job, get rid of them. They started to trust in Solskjaer. Yeah. And after a bit of time, he's kind of brought in one or two players. He started to kind of develop the youngsters. And now he's kind of he's challenging again. United are challenging for leagues again, which is what they needed. But that's down to United kind of trusting in Solskjaer and giving a bit of time when the hard times came about. Yeah, it didn't really matter. They stuck by him. Arsenal are trying to do that. I just don't know whether Arteta is the man. It'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's going to have to take another probably 2 years for him to get a couple. He needs another 3 or 4 transfer windows, and he needs the backing from Arsenal's board with money.
Yeah, I don't know if they're really gonna back him with that amount of money. Are they like are they going to invest?
I suppose, well, if they have a project and if they have something in place where they want him to develop players and they want him to build a squad that can compete, they have to. Like if they want him to succeed, they have to back him.
Yeah.
Simple as that. If Arsenal want to get back challenging for things, they need to back the manager that's there. And if it's a young manager that they're putting their trust in, well, then there's no point in having him if you're not going to back him.
Yeah, and do you think that like they're going to get this youth coming up through the ranks, or do you think this is going to have to be like a purchase from one of the Scandinavian countries or something like that? A young 17-year-old, 18-year-old, like are they going to like because they're investing the time in Arteta? Are they going to invest the time in a youngster like that, or are they going to try buy someone that's established good youngster? Because again, we're talking about no money being available, but like you have to make sure your youth system is fine. Then, like
it's a bit of both. You need they need a good centre half, like most teams. You need a good centre half. You need a good goalkeeper behind that centre half, and then build a good spine through the team. Like have a midfielder and a good striker as well. So they do. Arsenal have always had kind of good youth players. And I think they can build the youth. There's, as you see, a man Smith Rowe that's come through as well. He looks like a good player. Saka as well.
Saka's very good.
Like they do have talent there. Odegaard, Tierney, Bellerin. They need a couple of quality signings, and then along with the youth, it's a good mixture, and they could build something. But I do think it'll take a couple of years before you see Arsenal kind of back at that level.
Yeah, I find I struggle to see how long. Like it's gonna be. I'm talking even just Champions League football at this stage. Like I think they're going to be waiting another 5 years at least for it before they're getting anywhere near it. Like when you look at the likes of like West Ham there and everything coming up and the talent that they've got there compared to even Arsenal now, like is it going to be a case where Arsenal are going to say, right, hold on a fucking minute, like we're the bigger club here. Are we going to go and buy some of these players from them type of teams? Like, are they going to jump in Souček maybe, right? Sign him. Are we going to go and get fucking Calvert-Lewin? Could be a potential kind of target for them. Like,
yeah, but it's kind of like if you're a player at the likes of Everton and West Ham and stuff. Normally, a step up is Arsenal for you, but when you look at Arsenal now, it's almost like a step down for players.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not the same Arsenal. They never used to have to convince kind of players, but they had top players there that was your convincing. You're in London. That's always a major factor. You've got top players playing at Arsenal. I'll go there for a few years, but now you look at them and it's like, no, Arsenal are not going to be successful for another 5 or 6 years, if that. Yeah. So you're looking at being at Everton and you think, no, I'll stay here.
Yeah, you're working with one of the best managers in the world, in Ancelotti, and you're looking at the talent around you. All you have to hope for there is that everybody else stays and doesn't leave. Like, because once you kind of you lose one of your top players, then it could be kind of a domino effect. Like, definitely. And you may struggle. Now look at with kind of happened with Leicester, but at the same time they rebuilt and replaced really quickly. Like with the likes of Kante going, they brought Ndidi in. He was kind of in and out of the team then. And he pretty much done a good job with them. Like, and then there was a couple of others, but like the likes of Drinkwater, who's fucking sitting in fucking Chelsea's reserves bench at the moment.
But nowhere to be seen, yeah.
Yeah, but like they've always kind of rebuilt and done well. But Arsenal just fucking don't know what it is. Like I'd love to see Arsenal TV now tonight after that performance. Although they're true, I'd say they're absolutely fucking slating them.
The one question I have for you, Collie, right, is you look at the league table and you look at Everton, like Southampton were up there, West Ham are up there now. Do you think the no fans in stadium has had a massive impact on these like kind of smaller teams, if you like, producing better performances, or like it's such a weird season? Do you think the fans not being in stadiums has had a negative impact on some teams? And definitely, yeah. I think on some teams, 100%.
the reason I say that is because it can be a motivator for a lot of players, like, and I think even if, like, for a team in general, if the team has been playing shit, like, just say for Arsenal, for instance, like, there's no way that they would not have been booing at the end of some of them games, and that would be playing on players' minds. And you're like, right, gonna fucking prove a point here. Everybody hates us at the moment. I want to be that one guy that's working his bollocks off, that's putting in the effort, that's the fans are gonna love.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that there's definitely different things that play a factor with the fans being there. I don't think they get cut as much slack as now. Now they're kind of getting away with it, like, and not much is being said.
If you look at Everton for example, like at the start of the season when there was fans there, they were getting on top of Everton, and they were getting on top of Ancelotti, and things were looking bleak for them. And then all of a sudden the fans aren't in the stadium, and Everton are absolutely flying at the minute. Same with West Ham.
More, isn't it?
When West Ham had fans, if they had a bad performance or if they had bad games, like the fans were on top of the players, and the fans were on top of the manager, and the manager was getting kind of slack. And I think it's had a massive impact. And for me, being a Liverpool fan, I think it's had a negative impact as well on Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely.
It's because they've always kind of been the fans backing them and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But for some teams, it's been major for them. Like looking at Everton and West Ham, and I think it's a blessing in disguise and they probably want fans not to come back into the stadium for the rest of the season. Like,
definitely. It's an interesting one with Chelsea though. Like, I know obviously going to Chelsea, but with Lampard being there, I really would have been surprised if they sacked Lampard while the Chelsea fans were in the stadium. Like, because no doubt when the results weren't gone bad, they would have been singing his name 100% after every game. So it would have been harder for them to kind of make that decision. Like,
it's the same for, as you said, for Chelsea and Liverpool. Like the Chelsea fans being in the stadium there when Lampard was in charge, them themselves would have dragged a few performances out of players.
Yeah, definitely.
By the chanting and all this kind of stuff. He'd have won more games, I think, with fans in the stadium. Whereas when you're kind of like down and out and you need like a bit of motivation.
Don't be calling them a down and out. Just fucking breathe it in a little bit there. Right?
When you
heavy on Frank Lampard, leave him alone a bit.
He's a terrible manager in France.
But don't start.
When you're looking for motivation and you like look for the fans to start singing a few songs or whatever, and the stadiums are absolutely empty.
Sing a few songs. It's Chelsea.
Yeah, it's the only song Chelsea have. But it seems to help them.
Yeah,
I just think like for some teams it's been major in a positive way, and then for other teams it's had a massive negative effect.
Yeah, I think for the teams that are kind of like you were saying, like the likes of the Evertons and West Hams and stuff like that, where they're kind of borderline a good club and a good team, like they're getting cut a little bit more slack because there's nobody on their back, and they're kind of able to concentrate a bit more on it. Like maybe the manager is able to get his point across a bit better with no fans there as well. Like,
well, you'll see it next season with if fans are allowed back in the stadium. You'll see if these teams continue to stay up around the top part of the table, or if West Ham are back down mid-table or bottom half of the table. You'll see the difference in the fans and how they get on managers' backs. And
it would definitely be interesting. Sorry, just a quick one. It's 1-0 to United against AC Milan, just in the Europa there. So, Paul Pogba scored in the 48 minutes. So, just a quick update for anyone that's watching.
There was a nice little double there today on that. Sorry, for Cheltenham, there was it called Moan, the horse?
Moan, yeah, got lost.
For Moan, did it?
Yeah, lost.
Oh, well then never mind. 11.
Absolute shambles. I was actually watching that, and it was fucking like your man wasn't even trying to win with like no win for Moan. Like he was literally fucking up challenging for first. Now I don't know a lot about horses, so he was challenging for first spot, and then your man just kind of like trotted along. You know, you'd see them giving him a few fucking lashes, like just fucking didn't even take the whip out. Like, you know, I was like, fucking give him a whip.
It was gone.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was. I was like, right, that's me done for Cheltenham now. Fucking finished.
The double was that horse to win, and United to beat AC Milan. For some reason, I thought that horse had won, and I was going to do it. It was 11-1. I was like, that's decent enough.
That's actually not a bad price here. I'm sure if I'm happy you didn't do it now.
It's a good result, or well, 1-0 against AC. Like that's
It's
knocking a
still-
big team out of Europa League. Like United could go on
Still
and
the
win this.
56th minute now. Now, I won't lie. I've done a bet, right? I've done a €3 bet here just to be watching while we're doing this. I done Rangers to be Slavia Prague. They're losing 1-0. I actually done Ajax and Young Boys to draw at 3-1, but Ajax are winning 2-0. But I'm kind of happy at the same time that Ajax are winning because Paddy is doing a 5 to 1,000 challenge or 10 to 1,000, whatever it is. And he won, I think he's up to about 50 or 60 euro, but he put it all on Ajax to win. So that's coming in now. So it'll be interesting to see what he has for us next week when he comes back. But
Deadly.
yeah, so I'm happy enough actually to lose that bet. Lose me €3 for the sake of Paddy winning his
That's the furthest I think any of us have ever gotten.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But yeah, so West Ham and Arsenal, and then on score picks. How do you think this for one, how do you think this game is actually gonna go? Like,
yeah, I don't think it'd be a great game to watch. Super. No, it's not a great Super Sunday.
I think it might be a good game though.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna go
4-3.
yeah. Now, do you know, I'm gonna go 1-1. I was kind of convincing myself that West Ham were gonna beat Arsenal, but I'm gonna go 1-1. I think it'll be a bit boring.
I think you're right on the draw. But I think there'll be more goals because I think both of them can be kind of laps at the back. Like, so I'm actually on 2-2. So I think there'll be a few goals. But who are you going for a goal scorer?
I'm gonna go Souček.
Oh yeah,
from a corner.
I'm gonna go with. See, I could go either way on like. I'm gonna say Bowen. He's not suspended, is he? Oh, Melons gone. I'll continue on with this anyway. Melons obviously clicked out. So we're going on to the next one, which is Villa versus Spurs. So 7:30 on Sunday. Villa are 21-10. Nice to return. 12 to. Did you just click out of the screen?
No idea what happened. I went to click on the comments and then it just kicked me out.
So yeah, sorry, we're moving on there. So Villa 21-10. The draw is 12-5, and Spurs are 5-4. So this game wasn't supposed to be played. It was Villa and Leeds. Was it that got cancelled or something?
Spurs and Southampton got cancelled for Saturday.
Right, so they've decided to play this one, which is fucking mind-boggling to me that they can just keep plotting fucking matches in, like, because you don't really have that much time to prepare them. Villa look obviously very hit and miss this season. Sitting in 9th position, last 2 games have been a draw and a loss. Sorry, that's 3 games, but sitting in 9th, 41 points, 4 points behind Spurs with a game in hand. Do you see Villa getting any higher than that this season, or do you think this has been a bit of a kind of lucky season, maybe, or not so much lucky, but I probably wouldn't have expected them even up that high. I probably would have expected 13th or 14th maybe at this stage. Like,
yeah, it's a massive turnaround from last year when they beat relegation on the last day of the season. So for the work that they've done to get top half of the table this season is massive. But yeah, like, again, it's probably another team who's benefited from no fans being in the stadium, getting on the backs and
got no fans.
So yeah, and I think with their recent dip, they've missed Grealish for the last couple of games as well, haven't they? So it's like, it shows how big of an impact he has on the team. But
yeah,
like this game, it definitely can go either way, because Spurs, on the other hand, like, I have no idea what's going on with them. They've just been knocked out of the Europa League, having a 2-0 aggregate lead, and they got beaten 3-0 after extra time tonight by Dynamo Zagreb, whose manager just left them because he went to prison. So
it's absolutely hilarious, isn't it?
They got beaten by a team whose manager is managing them by prison, or from prison.
Oh, fuck's sake, that is absolutely comical.
The one question, Collie, I had for you was, it's around Spurs, and it's, do you think Mourinho's time is up at Spurs? It was a better question when they didn't get beaten tonight, because it's more kind of leaning towards yes, I think, now. But Do you Do you think?
I don't think his time is up. Like I still think, because look, always gonna try back Mourinho as much as I can, just because a little bit of an allegiance to him with Chelsea. But I think at the moment now, the way he has the team playing is very confusing. I don't really know what Spurs are about. I don't know whether they're trying to be a counter-attacking team, or are they trying to actually just press high? Because there's times when I watch them and they're pressing very, very high, and then there's times I watch them where they sit a little bit deeper. Kane drops into nearly the midfield to get the ball, and then they kind of just go and attack. So I'm very confused about their tactics. I know Mourinho didn't want to be just labelled as kind of the park the bus merchant and wanted to have a little bit of flair about the team, but Bale coming into a bit of form with the likes of Son and Kane there. I think if you get the three of them firing, I think they're one of the best three kind of attacking players that you're going to get in the league, and maybe even Europe. Like Bale has been doing very well lately, so be interesting to see. I don't know, but like in terms of time left with Mourinho, again, what's he? Is it a second? He's on in his second year, isn't
it? Second or third? I'm not sure. No, second. Yeah, Pochettino's not gone that long. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where like you get some Mourinho where stuff becomes a bit stale, and I don't know whether he just loses the dressing room or he gets fed up and he doesn't put in the effort or something like that. But you're getting to that little stage with Mourinho where he'd usually have a trophy by now, and to me, it just seemed like he took that job because it was in London, and that was the main thing I thought he took that for.
But do you not think he's massively underachieving with the squad? That, like as you said, the front three alone, are one of the top in Europe on their day, if not the world. Like, do you not think? For me, I think it's like Mourinho has failed to adapt to the new way of playing football. Like, you look at City, like now Chelsea with under Tuchel, Liverpool, like they have a different way of playing football, and Mourinho is still trying to like get across his way of playing football from his time at Chelsea or his time at United. Hasn't worked for how many years with the clubs that he's gone on to since Chelsea.
Yeah, different players. Like I think he needs for his system to really work, he needs solid defense. And if he doesn't have a solid defense where the defense can get him out of a hole, he struggles a bit. I think. Like, and I just think that Spurs defense is not great. Like at the moment.
And but you kind of see the thing about Guardiola. Like so many fans come out and say, "Oh, he wouldn't be a top manager if he didn't have all the money in the world and all the top players. Every team he's gone to has had the top players." Do you think that's the case with Mourinho? Like,
no, I think that's bollocks. I think it's bollocks that like you can spend and just buy a world class team, because Lampard tried to do it by buying Werner, by buying Havertz, by buying fucking everybody under the sun, and Lampard struggled. So that goes to show that you can spend as much money as you want, and if you can't get them playing together as a unit and your tactics don't suit them players, that it doesn't really matter how much you have. I just think Pep is brilliant at tactically getting his methods and his way of playing across to a player. Like as you said earlier there, De Bruyne playing right back and they'd still win. Like every single, like they've been without Aguero, who's been one of their best players over the last fucking 10 years with them, like, and he hasn't been around, and they're still not lacking goals. Like their wingers are chipping in big time and all. And even when De Bruyne played up centre, he played centre forward, and I think he scored or he assisted. And then I think the next week they played Mahrez up front, and Mahrez scored as well. So whatever he's doing around it, so like from the midfield to the two wingers, is just, it's genius. Like, and like we all knew that at Bayern Munich, Pep's tactic was attack down one side, overload it, and then bang, switch it down the other side. It's 1v1, and your man goes in, and you can play the ball across. It doesn't look like he's doing that at City. It just looks like he's just finding these gaps, and he knows the talented players, and he can pick out that pass. Like, I don't know. He's just a different level, I think, than everyone else. Like, I don't think it's a case where he's just spent so much money and he's got the best players in the world. Like, I think he's made Sterling what he is.
I'm just of the opinion that Mourinho, for example, I think Mourinho needs money and he needs top players. Like, he done it at Chelsea. He, like Abramovich, he had all Abramovich's money. He bought in top class players. Yeah, like his tactics were great, and he made them top players gel, and he won trophies with them top players. But then when you go to United and he didn't have so much money, or he goes to Spurs now, he has some decent players, but he has a ropey kind of defense and stuff. It's like, I just feel Mourinho needs the best players and as much money as possible. And then he can work his tactics around that, then that's fine. But when he has it's mad to call Spurs an average team because of the players that they have at their disposal.
Yeah.
It's so weird, like, but they're players obviously that don't suit Mourinho's style of football, and he's struggling massively with it.
I just think like the likes of not having Dele Alli there. I think he can be too headstrong sometimes. Where like
that's by choice. He doesn't.
Yeah, I know, and it is his downfall because like even if you look at the likes of Chelsea and stuff like that, he got rid of like Juan Mata and stuff and like Mata was the best player at Chelsea for 3 years. Like I think he won the Player of the Year for 3 years, and then all of a sudden sells him to United. Like, and then all of a sudden he's United manager and he's playing him. Like, do you know what I mean? And he played pretty well under Mourinho at United. So it is like, and like I'm gonna go back again even further where Kevin De Bruyne was at Chelsea, Mo Salah was at Chelsea, Lukaku was at Chelsea, and Mourinho had a say in pretty much selling all them players. Like, so it is a thing where like I don't think Mourinho for developing a player and that's why I think the massive difference between Mourinho and Pep is that Pep can get a player and completely transform them into a different player. Like that's what I think he's done with Sterling. Bernardo Silva for one is fucking different class on his day. I just think Mourinho sometimes he does struggle, but he's kind of he's his own biggest enemy, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah, I just think for what he has at Spurs, I think they're massively underachieving, and the fact now that like Europa League was their best chance of a trophy in years, and they're after being beaten when they should never have been beaten there 3-0. And now they're out of Europe. It's insane, and I don't know. Like,
Daniel Levy won't stick for that either. Like,
no,
like you see what he done with the
definitely
documentary. You got rid of Poch quick enough. Like he'll pull the trigger on that. Like,
and I think that's the thing. He either waits till the end of the season and lets Mourinho go, or if results don't go his way at the weekend, do we see Mourinho kind of heading out the door? Like,
yeah, I don't think Mourinho won't leave himself because he knows he's not going to get the pay.
No, as in, do you think as in Levy will sack him if he doesn't get a result or they get beaten here on Sunday? Does Mourinho go? I
don't know if it's so much now, because if you look at their recent fixtures or their recent performances in the league, they haven't been as bad. Like in the last 4 games, they've won 3 and lost 1. Like, so in terms of like in the league, they're like, although they're sitting in 8th position, like they are only 6 points behind Chelsea. So there is a glimmer of hope there. It's not completely buried. Like, and teams have been dropping a lot of points. So if they can, and they've got a game in hand as well. Sorry, so really realistically, it's actually 4 points. So look, it's not all hope lost for them, but it's definitely not where they want to be. Sitting in 8th position with that team it's not acceptable. Yeah, it's not acceptable, and I don't think Levy would stick it much longer. Like,
where do you think this is going then the weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Like, I would be surprised. 5-4 for Tottenham is not a bad price for them, considering, like, look, they're after fucking that up big time tonight. Mourinho won't. He'll come out now, and I don't know if he's had his interview or whatever, but he'll come out and slate the players. He won't sit back on that, and he'll look for a reaction.
That's the other thing. Like, they were beating Arsenal last weekend and ended up getting beaten 2-0 or 2-1, and he came out and he blamed the players, saying that the big players hid. So it'll be very interesting to see what he says tonight. See, that's why I think he's his own biggest enemy, because there's certain teams like the likes of Kane and stuff sitting in there. Like, if he doesn't react well to that, he'll probably just go to fucking Daniel Levy and say, "Here, what's the fucking story? The boys aren't happy." Like, and Levy will pull the trigger. Like, so he needs to be careful how often he's publicly slating them, because he does it quite regularly. Like, that's where I think he can get himself sacked. Maybe if he comes out and slates the players again, and then they stop playing for him, and Villa come up with a result. Like, you could see Mourinho walking out the door, or kind of like being kicked out the door after
being fucking pushed
on
out.
Monday, you know.
So what score do you reckon on this one?
I am going to go. I'm going to go Villa for this one. I just think they're going to pile the misery on Spurs. And I'll go 1-0 Villa.
We haven't mentioned John Terry yet.
Yeah, we don't need to.
I just want him to know that I love him if he's listening to this. So you're going 1-0 Villa, and who are you saying to score?
I am going to go with El Ghazi.
Oh, interesting. I am gonna go with a Spurs win on this one. I think they might react better to this, like then, because look, they're out of Europe now. They have to concentrate on this. Like, do you know what I mean? This is their way into the Champions League. There's no other way to it now. Like, they have to finish fourth. So, although I'm just thinking now, so if City were to win the Champions League, do we get a 5th position? So there you go. So they could potentially be playing for a 5th position, which may give them Champions League football. So that's why I think this is going to be a bounce back from Spurs, and they're going to win.
Doesn't matter because Liverpool are going to win Champions League, and we'll be back.
I'm not even joking, right? And we haven't really lined this up to talk about it, but the Champions League draw, I genuinely hope Chelsea get Liverpool. And I'm not even just saying that. I really think we'll fucking hammer us.
Yeah, Chelsea. To be honest, Chelsea are the team at the moment that I don't want to get in the Champions League because
I don't think anyone does.
No, I think Tuchel has them playing unbelievable. Well, not that he's playing unbelievable football, but he just has them hard to beat.
Oh no, it is unbelievable football.
Like
sexy football.
It's good football. Like and Frank Lampard couldn't bring that to the team, but Tuchel has brought it, and he's actually shored up the defense as well. Another thing Lampard couldn't do. So yeah, I don't think I would like to get Chelsea.
Liverpool are sitting in 6th position this year. just gotta throw a couple of facts here that
all right, Rafa.
They had a lot of facts. They had a lot of Anfield losses. In fact, 6 in a row, was it?
It's why I brought up the whole fan thing, so I could make an excuse. Struggling
without them. You were getting that. So that's the worst since the club started, isn't it?
But Frank Lampard
got
your
sacked. Reigning supreme leader, Mr. Jurgen Klopp.
Lampard got sacked.
It doesn't matter. Like, I mean,
it does matter. It's killing you inside.
Who cares?
Are you happy that Tuchel is doing so well, or are you a bit sick that Lampard couldn't do it?
Oh, I'm obviously happy. I'm a little bit gutted that the players have come out and started really playing for him. But
because he's giving them proper tactics and he knows what he's talking about.
I'm going to move on from this, man, because you're annoying me now.
What's your score prediction?
2-1 to Spurs, and I think Gareth Bale will come up with the goods again. Just a comment on Facebook there, Patrick Coleman, my dad. Kane for City.
Here we go.
Kane for Man City, he reckons. And there is big kind of talk about this. If Spurs don't get Champions League, do they lose Kane? Like, Kane, I don't know. Like, he's a pure Mayfainer, and he's all about himself. And if he's not winning stuff, he thinks it's bad on him. So he's going to want to go to one of the best, which is City.
But do you think, like, Kane had an opportunity to go to United a couple of years ago, and he kind of stuck it out at Spurs because Pochettino was there, they were doing well. Do you think that kind of like that time for him to move to a big club is gone? Do you not think he's
no? He's quality. Like, how old is Kane? He's probably 26 or so, is he?
No, he's older than that, I think.
Is he? Anyway, look, he seems to be in the prime. Like, you have to remember as well, Kane's coming back off a massive injury, and he's still scoring goals, and he's still always a threat. And if you put him into that City team, the amount of chances he'll get is ridiculous, and he only needs 1 or 2 good chances, like, and he'll score a couple, like.
Yeah, well, I suppose Aguero is kind of gone. And
Jesus is just a little bit probably shy of being as good. Like, you know what I mean? He's very hit and miss. Like, if
you look at strikers, I know Paddy said like Kane to City, but if you have the option of buying a 20-year-old Haaland or I just checked 27-year-old Harry Kane, Like, who are you going
close.
for?
I said 26 or 28.
Yeah, I don't know why. I thought he was a lot older than that.
No,
Like, who are you going for? Are you going for Haaland or are you going to go for Kane? Like,
well, look, yeah, the only argument that you could put up against is experience in the league. So Kane is experienced in that league. He's proven it in the league. So you know what you're getting with Kane. You're getting goals. With Haaland, he still has a bit to prove. He's a fucking beast, and the chap seems to be unbelievable.
You're guaranteed goals with Haaland, and you're getting a 20-year-old who's giving you another 10 years at the top.
Oh, how much is he going to cost in comparison to Kane? I think Haaland might be actually more expensive.
Wait.
I know it's not an issue. It's not an issue.
60 million next year. Like
60 million.
When or he has a clause for next summer where clubs can buy him for like 60 million.
60 million.
For him,
really
that's
like
a joke.
I really feel like Dortmund need to sort that fucking contract out, because give him, say to them, here, we'll give you $1 million a week and then we'll sell it in the summer, just so he signs that contract, get 300 million.
Like he can Dortmund can either let him say to clubs, right, we're gonna let him go this season, but you're paying 90 million for him or whatever it is, or clubs say, no, we'll wait till next year, let him have another year at Dortmund to score more goals.
Yeah,
and improve himself even more, and then we just snap him up for 60 million, which is an absolute bargain.
But he's not guaranteed to go there, so that's why City might have to pull the trigger on that and make a fucking outrageous bid to get him. I do think Kane is a good option for City. You know what I mean? I'd be happy with either, to be honest with you.
I think if Kane goes anywhere, he goes to United. He goes to the other side of Manchester, and that's where City will then kind of strike back, and they'll sign a fucking Haaland or Mbappe or something. They'll make a big signing. But it depends on where Haaland wants to go. But I think Kane, if he's to go anywhere, it's probably going to be United.
Yeah, interesting. Right, we'll move on from that one. Melons, so that's the Premier League matches complete there, right? So there's only 4 of them, so we went into a little bit more detail. We're actually over the hour now, so we thought it was going to be under an hour or so. The next thing we're looking at is we're going to just talk a quick bit about the Ireland match that's coming up next week. So obviously we start our World Cup qualifiers. You have the team available there, don't you?
I should do, yeah. I'll drag it up there now in 1 second.
So just a quick one on the group that we're in. So we're obviously playing on Wednesday, which is why I'm going to pull up this group. So we have Azerbaijan. We've got obviously ourselves, Ireland, Luxembourg, Portugal, and Serbia. So for one question I have is, do you think we're going to get out of this group?
I'm going to be positive and I'm going to say yes. I don't know if you see that screen there with the team on it, if you want to drag it up and have a look at the squad that he's announced. Obviously there's no Randolph because he's out injured, but he hasn't been getting a look in. He moved to West Ham again, moved back to West Ham and hadn't got a look in with them. So I'd imagine Kelleher's going to get the nod in goal. There's obviously a call up for that Gavin Bazanu. Wasn't bad. I think he's at City. He's on loan at Rochdale, but he came from Shamrock Rovers 2 years ago to City. And there's a lot of hype about him. He's only 19, but Kelleher's only 20. So we've got some young goalkeepers there with Travers as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, just with the defense is alarming for me, because obviously we've got Coleman and Doherty who are good players, but Duffy's gone completely off the boil lately. He's gone to Celtic and he's done nothing.
Yeah.
And the Stevens I don't rate at all. I don't like him as a fullback. It's the midfield is midfield and the strikers are kind of a bit exciting for me, because Jason Knight and Jason Malumbi and then Josh Cullen as well came in and done well. So there's options there.
You have to ask there is, why have we got so many forwards compared to midfielders? I know a lot of them are going to play wide and stuff like that, but like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like you'd probably consider Brady, like the first three on the list there, Horgan, McLean, and Brady are kind of more wingers, if you like. Brady maybe an attacking midfielder. So I suppose they fall under the forwards, but they're not really forwards.
Who would you like to see starting in midfield? Just say what we're going to go with. Say a 4-2-3-1. Who are you starting? Look, I think the defense kind of half picks itself. Midfield, who are you starting there?
Like I would like to see. I think Jeff Hendrick's gonna start. He seems to like Hendrick, but I would like.
I actually think he should, because he's been playing regularly at Newcastle, and he actually hasn't been playing too bad. He's probably, if you look at like the fantasy football, he's one of their highest scoring players on the fantasy football. Like, so I mean, in terms of creation and stuff like that, he's up there with kind of the top Newcastle players. So I would like to see him sitting in there. I know I'm not really a big fan of him, but we don't have many options. Like,
yeah, I would like to see Knight and Malumbi start in the midfield.
Yeah.
Just because Malumbi, when he's come in, I think he's real calm and composed on the ball, and he's simple. He doesn't try anything crazy. He wins the ball and he plays it off to somebody who can make a better pass than he can. So he kind of keeps it real simple. I like watching him. Jason Knight, he's doing well at Derby this year, and he seems like a real kind of aggressive midfielder. It's something that I think we've missed, where he's not afraid to throw his foot in and kind of like, he's not afraid of a booking, if you like. And it's exactly what Ireland need. They need someone who's kind of dogged and gets in at players and is a nightmare in midfield. So I wouldn't mind either of them two starting in midfield, to be honest. Josh Cullen, I've only seen a bit of him when he's come on for Ireland. He's made a few sub appearances, and to be honest, he's looked quite good. We have Hurahan and Alan Brown. Conor Hurahan is good really for kind of set pieces, and again he can make a good pass here and there, but I just think it's time to give these new players an opportunity and see what we can do.
So like that leads me on to the forward, right? So who do you want to see playing up top?
This is the problem.
Who do you think will play up top, and who would you rather see, or who do you prefer to see up top?
I think Aaron Connolly will play up top. Whether he plays two up top, I'm not sure, but it'll probably be Connolly and either Robinson or James Collins then as well. I don't think Troy Parra has a chance. He was on loan at Millwall, didn't get a look in. I think he's gone to Ipswich now. I don't know if he's playing there.
Yeah, scored his first goal last week.
Did he? Well, like, since there was all this hype about him when he was coming into the team from Spurs, and there was talk about fans wanting him to get an opportunity, but like, he's gone off the boil as well. There's not a lot of kind of talk about him anymore. So Shane Long, similar enough, he's dropped down to the Championship now. So I think it'll be Connolly and Robinson who probably start. Maybe James Collins, because he gives that bit of height and he's a danger in the air.
Just a question on Troy Parra, right? So, like, obviously saying there, like, obviously not in the best of form in terms of goal scoring and stuff like that. So, I think me and Connor may have discussed it a couple of episodes back, probably at the start of the season. Like, look, we're coming off, we're through a period where, like, we had the likes of Robbie Keane, who was getting pretty much every single one of our goals. Would you not like to see, right? So look, he's an unproven striker, but would you not like to see, right? Stephen Kenny's in there and he goes to Troy Parra, he goes, "You're my fucking number 9. And that's it. I want you number 9. I don't care about anything else. I want you. I see your talent. I want your goals. I want everything. I want you as a player to be the number 1 striker in Ireland." Give him that kind of little booster of confidence, which may in turn kind of turn his club career around. He might have a bit more motivation for a club. For, like, I just think there has to be he has to be given a spark to want to go and score goals. I just think he's living off a reputation he had at Spurs now. So could you just give him pass the torch onto him and say, right, you're a new Robbie Keane. You're like, we're relying on you now, and just give it to him. I know he's young, he's inexperienced, but just give him the responsibility. And look, you can only give it to him for so long. Give it to him for 10 games and just say, right, we're backing you. You're a number one. I know it pisses everybody else off because he's an unproven player, but would you not like to see that, like, where you just get a young player in, he's got bags of talent, just trying to get it out of him is the problem. Like,
it goes back to my argument of playing players when they're not getting a look in at club level, but they come to Ireland and automatically think that they deserve to start for Ireland. We like every time there's an international. I think he needs to prove himself at club level first, because he hasn't, like, as you said, he's living off this hype at Spurs, and I don't know why he's living off a hype at Spurs, because he hasn't done anything at Spurs. Like, he's done stuff underage level with them, and fair enough, he hasn't got a look in because Harry Kane has been there, but he's been loaned out. What most youngsters should be doing is getting loaned out at championship level and improving themselves then. Like, he's gone to Millwall and hasn't done it. Okay, he's got his first goal of the season at Ipswich. He needs to now go on a good run of form for Ipswich and start banging in goals. And then, look, Stephen Kenny puts him in and says, right, you're my number 9. You're my main man for Ireland. I want you there. But until then, you have to give Connolly and you have to give Robinson the opportunity, because they're playing week in, week out. And he needs to... all this hype that was around him, he needs to forget about all that, and he needs to concentrate on his own game and actually start showing people why there was this hype around him. But you can't not do it at club level and then just come to the international stage and be like, oh yeah, well, I'll show you where my hype is here. Like, you haven't done it at club level, so just concentrate. He needs to concentrate on Ipswich now, continue to go with the form that he's recently hit, I suppose. But until then, no, I personally wouldn't have him in the Ireland team just yet. Just, Cully, I don't know if I can share this, but there's a YouTube comment there coming from erectile dysfunction. What's the crack, lads?
He's been on the last 2 or 3 weeks. What's the crack, man? How's things? It is an interesting one. I just want that striker. I just want a bit of, like, I'm lost with Stephen Kenny. I as far as I'm concerned, I don't want him there anymore. So, look, I know financially for the FAI and stuff like that, it's not gonna be a smart decision to get rid of him, because who do you get in? Whoever you get in is gonna be a lower level, or else not gonna be able to afford anybody higher than that. So, look, it makes sense for him to be there. In terms of the future for the country and the international team, I think it's really, really poor. I don't like him as a manager, and I don't like his interviews after games and stuff like that. Like, to me, he struggles to even think correctly. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and what he wants to say, he doesn't get his words across like I'm doing right now. We're not getting me words across very well, but he doesn't get his words across correctly in an interview after the match. So how is he relaying what he wants to say to the players? Like, is that a clear message for the players? Like, do you know, I can only go off of what I'm seeing, and in his interviews, I'm really not impressed.
The only thing is, I wouldn't read too much into his interviews. I don't care too much about his interviews. I care about what he delivers behind closed doors to them players that gets them performing. For me, I was in the same boat. Like, I was like, yeah, like, Kenny's done. Like, he's not doing anything with them. But when I sit there and look at it, it's I want to see all these players, as I said, that are coming to the Ireland team just thinking they deserve to be there. Yeah. I want to see that gone. And if he's worked at the underage levels, if he's going to start bringing up these players who he's going to give an opportunity to, because there's no point in bringing them in and then continuing with the same shite that he's been doing. Yeah. If you're going to bring them in, give them the chance. And I hope that's why he has these players there, that he's going to bring in these players that he's worked with at the youth level and give them an opportunity, because they're the players that are going to fight for him on the pitch. They fall for him at that underage level. They'll fight for him at this level. And that's where I hope that they'll drag kind of Ireland back into the mix of qualifying and what we're all used to, like dramatic kind of scenes when they qualify. But
Yeah,
I get
don't
what
know.
you mean about his whole interviews and stuff. It's terrible. He needs work on that, but I don't care too much as long as
Yeah, look.
the message
I'm
he's
not. Yeah, I'm
relaying.
not too fussed about the interviews and stuff like that. But it is this thing where like he had an identity at Dundalk where he was just completely, play out from the back, and that was grand. He's trying to do it at Ireland. He doesn't have the talent to do it at Ireland, so he needs to understand that. He needs to adapt. Like you have the likes of Big Sam there, who would have just came in and just would have known that we're a long ball merchant team and would have adapted and played like that. He's trying this thing that I don't think we have the talent to work with. I just don't think it's going to work for him.
Yeah, but are you happy to sit there and watch an Ireland game where it's fucking going from the defense, like taking out the whole midfield and trying to launch it to the striker, or do you prefer to see what he's trying to build a builder from the back and at least?
No, and you know what? I don't actually. I would prefer to see a long ball launched up. Like we had one of our best moments as a nation with a fucking long pass from Darren Randolph over the top to Shane Long against Germany. And like that is just the way we play. And I don't think there's anything ever going to change that. Like there's no amount of talent in there that I think. Like look at them players there, right? They're bang average players. Like who stands out there as world class? Not one of them. Like if you were to put all of them as a team in the Premier League, they'd be getting relegated. Like yeah, I just don't think we have that talent there. And look, I understand what you're saying, like that. Like it's nice to see him try this new method and stuff like that, which is great. Yeah, he has his own theory on how to play football, but you have to be a realist about it. And that's what I loved about Mick McCarthy. He knew he didn't have the fucking talent there, so we adapted to that, and he played it in a way where we could not string results, but at least have a chance. And like we scored one goal in whatever amount of games we've played with him there, like, and it was a fucking Duffy header, I think.
It's also them previous managers that are to blame for this kind of stuff as well. Like Martin O'Neill.
I think it's McCarthy. The culture. I think it's just the Irish culture.
But hang on a second, because like those previous managers had opportunities to have what are now considered top English talent.
Yeah, like they had the opportunity.
Hang on, he played from fucking underage level all the way up. Had Martin O'Neill called him into the squad when he wasn't doing, like he had his high profile and he got called straight into England, and that's what made his decision. When he didn't have that high of a profile and Ireland were thinking about bringing him into the squad, same with Declan Rice. Bring them into the squad, get them caps.
I think was there on the bench at one stage, wasn't he?
And he didn't get played. Yeah, they didn't
that's
bring
fair
him
enough,
on.
right? That's fair enough. But the likes of Grealish there, like, I don't think he ever was going to play for Ireland. I know he played for him at the underage level, but there's no way that he was going to be playing for Ireland. Like he knew he was too talented for it. Like, I don't think
you have to like. If I'm the manager of that team at that time, you bring in them players, you call them in. There was never a thing of Grealish is undecided whether he wants to call up or not, or he's waiting for England. It was call him up and he'll come and get him his caps, and that's it sorted.
They did call him. They did call him, and it was a McCarthy called Bamford as well, because Bamford is eligible for Ireland. We missed out on him because there's no attraction to play for Ireland. Like who wants to play for Ireland? We're not a fucking top. We're not going to challenge for him.
Yeah, but it's because it doesn't help with the fact that you're not these players that are playing at your international like youth level for you. They're not getting them into the team at the kind of top level and getting them caps. If you tie down these players to international level, like that's where the talent is coming from. We're letting all the good talent go, and then we're sitting here and we're saying, but we don't have any talent. It's because we're letting it all go to England.
But we're pulling players from England. Like Grealish is English. Do you know what I mean? Like he has fair enough. He has a few fucking Granda or whatever that's Irish, and Declan Rice is English. Like. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like, I'd rather see an Irish fucking player that's playing like.
But you've got to then stop it at youth level, and these players that are eligible for England, like it's either you make a decision at youth level and you play all the way up for Ireland, or you play for the English youth team. It's one or the other.
The problem is you can't tie them down at youth level. That's the issue, I think.
You have to.
Like if you're like I know from kind of like just fucking seeing what it was like, but at that level, at youth level, you do not care about that player in 10 years' time. You want your best team at the time. So if I'm an under 14 fucking Irish manager, I want the best under 14 teams that's available to me. Like I have the
Well,
potential to challenge for something at that level. But
it's
like
the wrong way to do it though, because
100% it's the wrong way to do it. But that's just the way it is.
But you have to. That has to change though before
It does, yeah.
before we can progress and keep these players like at that level. Like Jack Grealish came to play for the Ireland underage teams because he wasn't good enough for the English team at that level.
At the time, yeah.
And he thought, right, and same as Declan Rice, come over to play for the Irish teams, get noticed. Hopefully, I get into the Premier League or Championship, and the English manager notices me, and I'll change to that squad. It has to change at youth level. And
the one
players,
big thing about fucking Ireland, right, is look, we have to call a spade, right? We're not the best footballing nation. Like it shows from our local or our fucking national league. Like, do you know what I mean? We're not the most talented bunch. We have heart, and we've always had heart, and we've always kind of had work rate. But
sorry, just a message that came in on YouTube there.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'll get it up there and read it.
It's very fucking true.
We need to develop our grassroots instead of sniffing around English 9-year-olds. Great long lost granddad. That is 100% true. Like that's what I just think. It's just so hard to like. If you look at the likes of Spain, like I don't think like I know it's a different fucking ball game altogether. But Spanish kids don't play an actual match until the age of something like 13 or 14. Like it's all work, it's all pass, and it's all the logistics of the game, like all the basics of the game, like, and that's something we don't have in Ireland. Like you think about, you have a kid and the kid is 8, you're like, fuck, I'll bring him up to the local football team, throw him in there, let him run after the ball for a while. You want to bring that kid up to tire the cunt out so you can put the fucking bed at 9 o'clock and sit there and watch fucking Netflix at night. It's not to like develop him as a player and stuff like that. I just don't think there's enough of that. Like, and I don't think we have the knowledge in terms of coaching to do it as well. Like, and like, look, what you're saying is 100% right, and we do need a change further down in grassroots level. But I don't think we have the structure to do it. Like,
it's not going to happen. Like, we can sit here and debate it all day, but it's not going to change where it needs to change. And as that comment says, it has to change at the grassroots levels before. You're always going to have these players who come to play for Ireland just because it gets them noticed at that level. And then the English side start thinking, right, can he play for England? Is he eligible? See how he gets on the Premier League or Championship, and we'll snap him up. The prize is always there. Like, England are always going to be competing for World Cups or European Cups, whatever it might be. That is kind of more attractive to any player if they have the opportunity to go there. I get that. But if we can change that at the youth level and get players to commit to Ireland and just tie them down, like, it's like a contract.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just hard to do it at that level because I get like, they're going to know whether they're going to be good enough.
You're tying every player down, and then if you don't rate them at Ireland, they have no international career. I get that, because they could go and play for a different international team if the Irish team don't rate them or want them. I do get that, but for us, we're losing out on so many players because we're letting them play for us, and then they just go to the England squad when they've developed into a top player. It's never going to change, I suppose. Yeah, but look, getting back to the game.
Yeah, so in terms of us progressing, and what's your hopes for kind of us in this competition? Look, we all know what we're up against. Qatar are playing in our league, but it's only friendlies for some fucking reason. Because of the hosts, they're put into our league, but the results don't count. So fucking pointless. So how do you think? Like, look, if you look at the likes of Portugal, so we've got Portugal, Serbia, Luxembourg, and Azerbaijan. Who are you expecting? Like, how many points? Right. So I'm just going to go through each team, and out of 6 points, I want you to tell me how many points you expect to get from them 2 games. Right. So I'm going to start with Portugal.
Yeah. Look, I don't think we'll get any points out of Portugal. It depends. Look, it does depend for me as well. It depends on if fans are allowed back in the stadium and we can have an atmosphere at kind of like if we can have an atmosphere at the Aviva, I think we can put it up to any team.
Yeah,
it's like when Portugal come to play in Ireland, we'll have a big atmosphere. Everybody wants to go see Ronaldo and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but right now, without fans, I'm saying no points against
Ireland. Ni point. So Serbia.
Serbia, I think this game will be a draw. And I do think we could potentially nick something at home.
So what do you reckon? 2 points maybe or 4? Terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know, I'm gonna go 4 points out of that game.
I'm gonna say 0. So Luxembourg. I'm gonna say 0. So embarrassing.
Luxembourg. Look, to be honest, I think Serbia and Portugal are the favourites, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Luxembourg, I don't know. It's too hard to pick.
You look at, like, being realistic. Obviously, as an Irish fucking fan, you have to look at Luxembourg and Azerbaijan as must wins for all 4 of them games. And if you don't win them 4 games, you've absolutely 0 chance. And you have to hope to nick something at Serbia and
it's win them 4 games and hope, as you say, hope you can nick some points from Serbia. I write us off against Portugal. I think they'll beat us both games, home and away.
Yeah.
But if we get a win against Serbia at home and manage to get a draw, it comes down to these games against, as you say, Luxembourg and stuff. That's where we suffer. It's where we need them points and we drop them. Yeah,
definitely. So look, we're an hour and 25 into it, so we'll move on a bit quicker here. So give us a score prediction on this, and you reckon we might make a draw?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1.
And scorer?
Aaron Connolly, I'm gonna go with.
I reckon we're going to lose 2-0. We can't really think of any Serbia players to pick the score, so I'm not going to give a goal scorer. But look, it's an interesting one. We will come back to this next week because we'll have seen the match by then. So it'll be interesting to kind of pick up on the Irish match. So might do a live stream on it, maybe. Let's see. Right, Melon, we're going to just move on quickly to the fantasy football because I just want to give a quick update. I haven't really gone to it much lately. And there is obviously the league that I'm running that I'm giving away a few prizes in. So just a quick update on that. So I'll just get rid of us there for a sec. So see if we can zoom in. So top of the overall leaderboard is Chasimba Changa. John Hermanson, I'm going to struggle with these fucking names. Ali El Hawari, Udin Panang. Not even going to try say that 5th fucking name. I don't know Thai writing, so I can't even comment on it. So I can't even give a team name for it. So look, I don't know. Tomislav Golubovich, he's been there for a while. So look, I'm not going through much more. So that was just a quick update on that. Just on the March league as well, or sorry, on the February. So we did give away a tenner free bet. So Jay Pradeep, if you are watching, you've won a €10 free bet. So get in contact with us, but chances are you're probably not. So man, apologies on the pronunciation to them names. We're gonna move on, right? Do you have a Melons moan for us, Melon?
No, let's just move on to the bets.
Yeah, so we're going on to the bets. Have you got any bets done up?
No.
Oh, lovely. Right, so I'm gonna show out my bets there. So let me just get these up on the screen. There's me with loser today. So Paddy just texted us in and told us that Ajax obviously won, so he's up to €120 now in his challenge. Sorry, that's me fucking dog marking there. So look, fair play to Paddy. Hopefully now next week he has something to pick. Sorry, my dog's running in, just ran into the chair. Look, I'm gonna just give out my bets real quick there. So I'm just going to zoom in on this if we can. Boom. So I've gone with a 9-fold, so I've stuck a 5 on this. It's a good sign. I like to see when they're offering you more money than you've placed before the bets even started. So just take that off. So that's a good sign. So I have a 9-fold here, 227 to 1, returns 1100. So I've gone with Southampton to beat Bournemouth. I've gone with Brentford to beat Nottingham Forest, Barnsley to beat Wednesday, Norwich to beat Blackburn, Watford to beat Birmingham, Burton to beat MK Dons. I think 15-8 is a mad price on Burton. They've been in serious form lately. Fleetwood to beat Swindon, Hull to beat Shrewsbury, and Sunderland to beat Lincoln. So I actually think that's not a bad bet, man, and that's probably one of my bets of the week, if I'm being honest.
1,100 quid back, was it?
1,100, yeah, from the fiver. So I'll move on to the next one. So I've got another ninefold. Again, this one's a little bit more realistic, I think, in terms of the teams that are kind of playing. So I've gone with Dortmund to beat Cologne. I've gone with Hartlepool to beat Woking. I've gone with Sutton to beat Stockport. I've gone with Real Madrid to beat Celta Vigo. I've gone with Marseille to beat Nice. The Irish League seems to be back this week, so I've gone with Bows to get off a good start to beat Finn Harps. I've gone with Feyenoord to beat Emmen. Inter to beat Sassuolo. That's how I'm going to say that one. And Sporting CP to beat Victoria Guimarães. So, again, they're kind of a little bit more realistic. Like, it's 141, 3 quid will get you back 420 quid. So, it's not too bad on that one. The next one I have then, again, another ninefold, but a higher return. So, 466 to 1. Norwich are 8 to 15 to beat Blackburn. So I've gone with Norwich. I've gone with Watford again. I've gone with a lot of the same teams here, just one or two different ones. Burton again. I've gone with Fleetwood. I've gone with Gillingham to beat Doncaster in this one. Sunderland, Hull, Bradford have thrown in, and Swansea have thrown in to beat Cardiff. So decent enough prices for Bradford and Swansea there. So it's not a bad one. So €2 return, 934 quid. I've done a fourfold draw, so I always throw a couple of draws on. So I've thrown €3 on this and it'll return 334 quid. I've gone with Preston and Luton to draw. I've gone with Northampton and Crewe to draw. I've gone with Plymouth and Bristol Rovers to draw. And I've gone with Colchester and Port Vale to draw. So that one's not a bad one. 330 quid back on that one. Nice. And then I've gone with, this is kind of one of the mad ones that I won the 12 grand on from a Euro. So I've gone with this one again. I've taken one team out. So when I done it with the Euro and won the 12 grand, it was 7 teams. So it's 6 teams on this one. So I've gone with Norwich. I've put all my eggs in Norwich's basket. So I'm hoping they don't fuck it up for me. I've gone with Norwich to beat Blackburn. Both teams score in Norwich. I've gone with Watford, Fleetwood, Bolton, Hull, and Sunderland. So I think they're very kind of doable. The rest I've already shown, which are league ones. So look, that's all me bets. And for anyone that's not watching and anyone that is watching, and I'm like, oh fuck, you have to go too fast. This is still going to be on my Facebook, and it's still going to be on me YouTube page. So don't worry, you can go back and rewatch it. It's not going anywhere. Anyone that's listening on Spotify, again, you can get it on YouTube. If you just go to the YouTube and just type in Footballbets4u, we'll pop up. I'm sure you'll see us there. Melon, there's not much else we're going to be covering. I thought it was going to be a much shorter one, under an hour, and we're an hour and a half into it. So
let's wrap it up.
We're wrapping this baby up, and we're probably going to play Call of Duty after.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Right, Melon, we're going to call it a day. Thanks for joining me.
No, what? Cheers.
And we'll see everybody. Just for anybody, if you haven't subscribed already to YouTube, go onto our YouTube and type Footballbets4u. We will pop up. It helps us if you subscribe and tell your friends, tell them to subscribe, like all the videos that go up and stuff like that. So it kind of helps us out. And again, if you're not following us on Instagram, the Footballbets4u podcast, type that in and we will pop straight up. Just a quick one there. Erectile dysfunction. Good luck, lads. Cheers for tuning in again, man. Talk to you next week. Right, so we'll leave it there, Melon. Same time again next week.
Yep.
So we'll see everybody then. So cheers for watching, everyone.
Cheers.